Welcome to another edition of Schmodown Night in Canada. I'm your friendly neighborhood soda, and once again, I'm joined by the man, Daniel. How you doing?
Hey, it's been a while. It
It,
seems
it,
I've
it
only
has.
been seems like I've only been on shows with Dave recently.
Well, I looked, and I think the last time you and me were on a show was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh yes, we also do so many shows, and I've been on so many of them that I feel like it's been weeks, like
Yeah,
much
well,
more than 3.
you've got a lot. You got to catch up to the rest of us.
Pretty much.
So we had a pretty good showing from the first two matches this week in the Ultimate Schmodown Singles Tournament. We had William the Beast Bibiani versus James Witt, and we had I guess you could say the hot rookie, Lady Justice herself, Marisol McKee, versus Primetime Paul Oyama. And what were your thoughts on the matches, Daniel?
I thought both matches were very incredible, and one thing I want to say before the matches is we're almost done the first round.
Thank God.
Yeah. 2 more matches to go, and then we're finally in the second round of this singles tournament.
Yeah, and we can get back to a normal recording schedule.
Maybe. Depends how
Maybe.
long they plan to run these number of matches. There's some
yeah, no
throwdowns
kidding.
coming up.
Yeah, I guess I put all my eggs in the basket too soon there.
Little bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, both these matches were pretty damn good for sure.
Yeah. And one of them, the one we're going to talk about later, was a very important match, both in number of competitors in the tournament and also first place on the line, because
Yes.
either Corruption or Swag winning this match puts them to either 41 or 42 and tied with or past the Finstock Exchange. But let's get to the first match.
Correct.
We have James White, not Witt, of the Den, and against William Bibiani. And oh man, I feel so bad for all of these rookies to be thrown in play-in matches like this. And of all of them, I was worried about this one because a rookie competitor can get eaten alive by Bibiani, and James White holds his own. I do want to mention his line in the promo about this wizard knowing his fantastic beasts is one of my favorite promo lines ever in this digital age, for sure.
Yeah, well, as a Harry Potter fan, it makes sense.
And also just the cleverness of it. And I really like Whitney Seibold and William having the two monikers that match each other when they were a team. Their Beauty and the Beast. It's perfect. I love every pun that I can get my hands on.
You know, I know they went with critically acclaimed, but that was a missed opportunity to go with that nickname for their team.
Yeah, back in the day, they were pretty much every team was composed of a podcast or a YouTube show, so everybody just used their own names.
Yeah.
Top 10 was the Top 10 podcast. Critically Acclaimed was the Critically Acclaimed podcast. The Real Rejects are still in the league today, and they're one of the only ones with their own moniker that represents them, because that team has stayed since season 3 or 4.
They are the only one, yeah.
And so both competitors getting into round 1 here. Both competitors go perfect through the first 8 questions, and James misses his 9th question, the bonus, but incredible, considering we didn't have much of a sample from his first game, he didn't play the best. He was hoping to show a lot more in this game, and I think he just, I mean, this is spoiling the match a bit, but this is a spoiler show. He got Chance Ellison, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
He got thrown to the wolves, and in this case, the beasts.
Yep.
And and there was there was so much that he had to do just to have a fighting chance in this game, and he does.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
yeah.
he definitely played like like head and shoulders above where he was in his first match, and he definitely held his own against the Beast, which not many people can do, especially as a rookie.
Yeah, and like he takes 5 points in round 2. He drops one multiple choice steal to Bibbs. Then Bibbs gives him back a steal in his round. He scores 6 though, so he goes up by 2. And um, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the worst lead in Schmodown is, and I'm gonna figure it out. You know, I mentioned this to Dave on a different show. The worst lead in hockey is a 3-goal lead.
Yep.
Because all the players get comfortable, this, that, the other thing. And I really thought it was actually that 2-point lead. Because the 2-point lead, missing your 2, the other person gets their 2. It's such a swing when you're getting comfortable, and like getting comfortable because you have 2 points, and if you answer all your questions, you'll win. If you miss one, you go to sudden death. But missing one and then one-upping you, now you're on your back foot and everything. And of course, none of this applies to William Bibbiani because he's been playing this game for several years, and his knowledge is what drives him to play well. Not that he doesn't strategize; he does it pretty well, but he relies on his knowledge, not his strategy.
Yeah, he's one of the few that can get away with that.
Yeah, him, Ethan Irwin, Dan Merle, Rachel Cushing.
Yeah.
And so let me see. Oh, that's what I wrote down here. Him getting the steal back in Bibbs's round when he doesn't have a super comfortable lead. Bibbs has already scored 2 points. He's checking down to multiple choice, but it shows that you're not giving up against 1, 2, the 3rd seed in the tournament, maybe the 4th. I think Paul might be the 4th because he just lost the number 1 contender after losing the championship, so it might drop him down a few rankings. And Bibbs did also lose a number 1 contender, but they're neck and neck, 3 and 4. I can't really place. But yeah, any of those 4 going up against them was going to be tough, as we'll get into in the next match as well. But yes, to play as well as you did against a competitor as fierce as this is something to be proud of, and I wish James White wasn't a member of the Den so we could see him in the teams tournament, because they already have too many teams to have chosen a team that had James on it, because he seems to really know his stuff, and I'd love to have seen more of his matches. But sadly, between distance and time availability and then COVID, we didn't get a chance to showcase the rookies too much this year.
Yeah, he'll be him along with Marisol McKee. They'll be a force to be reckoned with the next year.
And so we can get into this round 3 a little bit. He gets his 2, he gets his 3. One's release dates, and then 2010s. 2010s. That question made me laugh so much. And then Bibbs's 3-point after he was kind of mocking the question a little bit, but he understands how tricky that question is. Nobody is going to just reply the same answer. Like, what's the character's name in Mud? I'm sure he thought of every single other name in the movie, every character, and he's like, no, He's not called that. That's this person. He's not called that. That's this person. Is his name just Mud? And then you call the repeat, and then you go through more names, and you keep going, and you keep going. And you're just like, well, I'm gonna lose if I don't answer this question, so Mud.
Yeah, it was definitely a Makuga-like guess, that's for sure.
Well, no, he definitely knew it, and he knew throughout the movie everyone called this guy Mud. I'm sure he was digging for, did they ever mention another name? Is his nickname Mud, and the question is asking for a real person's name, you know? A first name, last name. And he definitely just burned that repeat to keep things. Has ever mentioned at any point in this movie? No, I'm just going to say Mud. And Bibbs's Angelina Jolie question was more or less the same, because if you're any way familiar with Angelina Jolie and the 90s,
Hackers is definitely one of those 90s films that people remember.
But also, I don't want to bet money on it necessarily, but I might. That this Hackers is the only movie Angelina Jolie has a username, let alone one called Acid Burn.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even think she has a code name in Wanted or anything like that.
Also, like, it's an online username they mentioned, and I was just like, there's no other Angelina Jolie movie where she's had to use the internet. Like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Because they don't really show it in movies. Unless it's kind of like they're bringing it up to show a search or somebody who's good at computers. They avoid showing it, much like eating or bathroom breaks, a long walk.
Yeah.
Because it takes time, right? And you're trying to move on to the next sequence or action scene. So, 5-point Disney question. What animal do the elephants think Tarzan is when they first see him?
As you can tell, I'm a fan of the movie Tarzan, and even I couldn't get it. I was thinking like giraffe or something.
I must have watched Tarzan maybe 4 times a week for 2 years when I was a child, and I could not tell you.
Yeah.
To be fair, there are a number of other movies that I watched more than that, and I can tell you minute details like that. But I couldn't think of it at all.
Yeah, that was a prototypical 5-pointer. That was a hard one.
Yeah. When we get to the next match, I happened to know it just because I know a lot about Inner Geekdom movies, and that's the only reason I knew this answer. Also, I relatively enjoyed that movie. So
when we get to it, you're gonna have to refresh my mind. I literally just watched the match, and I don't remember that last question in the second game.
Yeah. Bibiani won. I cannot remember where the Mercs were in the faction war, so
they were lower mid, I think.
I know they're in 4th, and I know they can't take 3rd because that's still like a 10-point gap or so. Yeah. But they're definitely moving on up, and they still have Perry, the Kid, and Bibiani all moving into the second round and facing different opponents. Bibiani will be facing the Barbarian,
which should be a fun match just for the banter alone.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that match, and I'm especially excited to watch them play like 90 rounds of sudden death and then burn themselves out so that Chance can walk over them. But you know, let's let's not get ahead of ourselves too much.
Yeah, Daniel, calm down, reel it in.
Look, we'll get there. We'll get there.
You need to get you a shirt that says "corruption shill." We really do.
I probably will get one. My brother prints T-shirts, and I can get a corruption T-shirt and add shill on it.
Very nice.
It would cost me almost nothing, other than buying the shirt, obviously. But
well, then get on it.
Support the show, everyone. Also support our show. Like and subscribe, everyone.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. You're learning. You're learning.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next match. The battle for first place over here.
I love it when these two factions face each other. I really do.
Oh yeah, and they've been facing each other all year.
Yeah,
and they'll be facing each other a few times at Spectacular. Sure. That's
just the playful banter between Shannon and Winston is entertaining.
Definitely, and I mean, both of them play well with all of the managers.
But they just have a special chemistry. There's just something about those two together.
Well, I mean, I look at the best manager for Shannon to play off of is Winston, but the best manager for Winston to play off of is Roxy.
You think?
Like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but Roxy brings out like the swag in Winston. Like I don't know why I think that, but and I don't know. I think like Coy is best playing off against Shannon because the hero villain thing. Yeah. Kaiser is best playing against Dagnino because they're
the same person.
Well, yeah, and also they have some sort of no holds barred sort of like unspoken rule between them that they can just do whatever they want. And I mean, both of them can talk for 9 years, so every time one of their factions plays one another, there's an extra like 12-15 minutes on the video, and you can see like
that is true.
And it was also a knockout,
just want to see how long-winded Kaiser is. Be sure to check our episode of Northern Consultations we did with a few months ago. That was probably definitely one of the better ones.
If we ever get Dagnino, we'll need to like do some video editing just to shorten the gaps between his words.
Poor Dave will be pulling his hair out for the runtime, and Lou will probably pass out a few times from anticipation, the blood leaving his head.
Yeah, we'll just edit the crap out of it and put that one out on audio only.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Getting into this though, we got Paulo Yama, which I read an interesting thing today. The most recent singles champion to be in the tournament, which there are 4. Are there more than 4? Am I forgetting someone that I'm going to be mad at myself for?
You're thinking of singles champions?
Yeah.
Well,
Paul, Bibbs, Irwin, Roca.
That are still in the tournament?
Yeah.
Or just
and Merle and Bateman are outside.
Riley
lost. Riley is in the tournament.
What?
So yes, there are 5 singles champions in the tournament. Riley beat Video Drew.
Sorry, that's actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't watch the match last week. I didn't have time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on.
That's fine. That's fine. So. You know, I'm when it comes to spoilers, unless it's like an Avengers movie, I don't care. Like I don't mind getting spoiled. I don't know. I think I thought I just read that Video Drew had beat him.
No, she played very well, and you should definitely check out that match because she gives Andrew Guy a run for his money in character work as well.
Oh, no shit.
And
no shit. She's
scaring the crap out of the announcers for sure. So, yeah. As we get into this match, who were you rooting for in this match?
As much as I like to see like underdog stories, which you know what, Marisol was the underdog in here. I like seeing Oyama and his redemption tour. So I had him because I wanted to see him succeed.
Yeah,
I like this.
I was so conflicted. I wanted Paul to win up until I saw Marisol's first match and I saw like what she's made of, and I also wanted Paul to redeem himself, like, because like I loved his character and strategy and everything that he was doing last season when everyone was hating on him. And like I just thought that the way he like tackled the game by force, you know? Like Ben does it through strategy, but Paul does it by force, by just cramming as many movies into his schedule as he can, and like really like watching and absorbing as many things as possible on top of just the strategy he played with. um I love putting spinners on the wheel. I think that's a super, like, it's a super mind games move, because, and he mentions it in this match, that you just need to be strong in every category, and you need to imagine any possible category can come up. So what he does is he puts those on the wheel, and it's a thing of like, I've practiced for every category. Have you? Are you scared to make your second spin and you're going to take a mediocre category because like you don't want to hit that opponent's choice?
Yeah.
Like there's a certain like mental game to it that I think he was employing with great success.
Never thought of that. And to your point, it like that happened. Like, to just jump to the second round a little bit, like you could see in Marisol's face, like she was questioning her decision. You know, should I spin again? What have you?
Yeah. And also, it's because I don't know if we've seen it specifically, but I assume they studied Paul and knew he would walk through Nora Ephron, and that's why she was worried about it. It would definitely be a slice she takes in any other match, but like maybe not against Dan. I would not take Nora Ephron against Dan Murrell, because any question you miss, he's gonna snap. But other than a couple of competitors that you know are big fans, it's a niche category. And it's one that if you're strong in it, you're gonna pick those up. And if you're not, if you're not really familiar with her, then you're not going to. And in this case, it was a calculated risk to take it, but she navigates really well.
She did.
We should get into round one quickly.
Okay, I was just gonna say I was surprised she missed the first question on that one. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get to hit the second round.
Yeah. She misses one question in round one, and Paul goes perfect with the bonus, so 9-7. Then he goes second.
Which
so
wasn't it his first perfect round in the singles? Like, didn't they mention that? Didn't they mention? Yeah, like he broke the first round curse or something like that. Yeah.
And it might just be this season. I don't know. I would have to go back and actually look at all the stats, but it's likely he went 6-0 perfect round. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, no, it very much is.
Yeah, and what were you saying? She missed the first question.
Well, on Nora Ephron. For Nora Ephron.
I'm not seeing that.
No. It was Nora
multiple
Ephron.
choice on 3. Yeah.
Oh no, she did get it. Sorry, I'm surprised that she needed to go to multiple choice for that. Is what I meant to say. Like, to me, the first question to Nora Ephron, what city does When Harry Met Sally primarily take place? It was a question that I thought was obvious, but I guess not so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't really sure if she was going to like be strong in the category, but you can tell like going to multiple choice is just having two things in your head and not knowing which one to go between. And again, you're not giving up these points to Paul Oyama because they're just 3 points for him.
Yeah, honestly, she got the Paul Oyama she wanted to face.
And well, for better or worse, and I suggest look out Jeff Snyder, because that's going to be tough.
That's going to be a bonkers one.
But we should point out 5 points is good in this round because it's 5 points with no negatives on it, right? A lot of times you'll see a 5 point, but it has either a 1 or a 2 point steal even, and that's when like you might as well have not played a round because you gave your opponent almost as many points as you got, and they're not even like answering questions in this round yet. And you'll see later like the coming to the last question, and if she answers it, Paul has to answer his last question. You can tell no matter what, this is a competitor that will hold her own against anyone in the league.
Yeah, and
because
like,
this is her second match, and she's placing a former singles champion to essentially his 5-pointer.
Yeah, and Harloff said it right. Like, she plays like she's been playing for a few years. Like, I agree with his comparison to Rachel Cushing. I think that's very apt.
And and I really hope that she continues to like really like progress and just get better, and absolutely we will keep seeing her like either bring these top competitors to the very like last question or last 2 questions, or she'll be winning a championship within the next season or 2.
Yeah, she very easily could.
I would not say it's impossible at all.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see her becoming. I mean, I can see her becoming the first female singles champion.
We should mention in round 2, Paul gets spinner's choice, and you can see they kind of look like they wanted to pick Nora Ephron, right? And he picks Kubrick instead, and just takes out every question almost like without thinking, and gets 8 out of 8 possible points. And so far he is actually, this entire game, he is 100% possible points earned.
Yeah, and you could tell just how impressive it was because you heard Harloff say under his breath when the round was over.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that was like not everybody can run the gamut on a Kubrick slice. Like, that is hard.
And for Paul Oyama to do it when every one of those movies is older than both of us, like both him and I.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I was like, around when Jacket was born. Actually, that was the only question that I missed, was the Full Metal Jacket one in that round. And I'm not a big Kubrick guy.
And it is interesting that if Marisol manages to hit her 5 point, I think just requires watching Dread the one time, which, you know, some people haven't watched Dread because why would you necessarily? If it's not your type of movie. Yeah, but if like superhero or gritty like crime action isn't your thing, then you're not going to watch that movie because it is.
Fair enough, but you know what? With where we are in the league, you can't have that attitude.
Well, yes, obviously, but it's in your second match in the league, you haven't started watching as many movies for study, or you just haven't gotten to that on your list yet. You know, there's many reasons for not having seen a movie from 2012 at this point.
Yeah. And for those of you who haven't seen Dredd, get off your ass and watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
It's one of the best uses of 3D ever I've seen in theaters.
If Marisol hits her 5, Paul Oyama has to pitch a perfect game or go to sudden death.
Yeah. That's intense.
Yeah. She was 5 points behind, and if she had scored all 10 in the third round, she would have had to push him to answer his 5-point on a perfect game.
Mm-hmm. Which you don't see all that often.
That is a sign that this is a legitimate competitor.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad we're no longer in the era where you can lose by having a perfect game.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess you technically might still be able to. I'm not positive, but there might be a way.
You look into that.
Betting round. You bet 2, I bet 3. My perfect game beats your perfect game.
Okay. Nope, fair enough.
Yeah. And I don't consider a perfect game to be the most possible points earned. I consider a perfect game to be you answered every question accurately. Yeah. Perfect accuracy.
Mm.
But perfect accuracy isn't always perfect win, you know? Because all it takes is 1 point these days.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's how far we've come with the league.
Yeah. And so, yes, we mentioned it earlier, but Paul Oyama moves on to face Jeff Snyder in the next round.
Yeah, in a rematch of one of the live events from last year.
And, I mean, there's no belt on the line this time around, but neither of them played a very spectacular game last time, so hopefully they're both itching to, burn the house down. Hopefully not their houses. I mean...
Wouldn't put it past Snyder.
I wouldn't put it past Snyder to burn down Oyama's house.
Yeah, you're not wrong. With the way Snyder seemed last match, I see him pushing Paul to the limit. This is going to be a close one. Very close.
Although the way Paul is playing is incredible to watch too, from both the final exam matches and this match, and even that match he lost against Roca. He did not play a bad game at all. He just happened to run into questions he didn't have. And hopefully this match isn't one of those ones where I would love to see these competitors miss the same questions, or miss the same amount of questions through the first couple of rounds. So it really does test each of their knowledge specifically.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get the match that this deserves to be.
Yeah, the match that the championship should have been.
And it's Winston versus Roxy.
There we go.
We came back around again. Yeah. All right. We are a little short on time here. So what I would like to get into, because corruption chill, right? Marisol and Adam Collins are entering the teams tournament. I'm not sure if you saw the chats earlier that were going back and forth. You were at work.
I did. I was at work, yes, but I did catch that. Yeah.
And we haven't seen Adam's match yet. We'll hopefully see it. I think it's Thursday. Yeah, I think it's Thursday's match.
Yeah.
But that one seems like it will also come down to the wire. And if he plays as well as Marisol played in this match, I don't give them the best odds going into the tournament, but they also don't have the play-in match to face the Founding Fathers either. So I'm not giving them the worst odds in the tourney either.
No, definitely. They both shown they can handle themselves in tough situations. So, yeah.
It could be they get odd couple, and that is a match I'd like to see.
Oh, Roxy versus Shannon again? Ugh.
Yeah, and odd couple versus the whatever this new team is going to be called.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Lawful Evil for now.
Ooh, I like that. For those D&D fans out there.
Yeah. I wish I was with Dave on this episode. That would have been a great joke to make.
I play D&D too, man. Come on.
Well, yes, but we are D&D.
Oh, fuck off. God damn it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on?
Nothing specific. Obviously, Swag was in third. They gained 3 points. They move up to tie Finstock Exchange, but I think they have less losses on their record, so they should be first. Yeah, because they have 41 points in less matches than the Exchange,
which is really impressive. Really impressive.
To be fair, one of those extra Exchange losses is when Ben played Dan.
That's true. That's true.
So, but they're still one behind at that point. So what are we arguing about? That's a hypothetical. Although it'll happen again coming this Friday. That'll be.
I know, right? Dear God.
Who you got?
Can't believe we're getting a rematch of that match. Holy shit.
Yeah. Do you have Dan going into Spectacular as the champ, or do you have Bateman?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me either way, but you can't bet against Merle. You just can't.
It's safe to bet on Bateman, but I also do not like his. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's confident because he's a great player, but the like momentum he would have had, like he's a playoff player, right? He thrives on this tournament energy, and he has not been playing up to par, and now he's not in the team's tournament. It's kind of a rough time for him in his career. He's at another kind of turning point or crossroads, and it's kind of up to him, and I'm not even necessarily sure his manager to decide what is the best thing for Ben Bateman going forward.
Have they announced who's going to be managing who for that? Or is it going to be Dagnino doing both again?
They sort of said that it could be Dagnino doing both of them, the way Shannon did for the Inner Geekdom tournament, because of the way the online structure works. The reason they couldn't do it for the live event is because it would have been running back and forth across the stage, and every break would have been twice as long for Tom to talk to each competitor. But now with the 60 seconds off the screen, boom, boom, all over, and the competitor can also hear what the manager is saying from the waiting room. They just can't chime in. That's why they're placed there. So there's, as long as he doesn't show favoritism, he's not going to piss off either of his competitors, and he should be able to coach them without doing that. And it's kind of, although Christian did mention, it is still up to him in the end as to what he's going to do.
If I were him, I would manage both of them. Let's go that way.
Yeah. I would do that for sure too. And I don't know. I'm worried that he doesn't have either on his faction next year. So
anything is possible. Yeah, anything is possible at this point.
I cannot wait for this free agency frenzy because I think it is going to be a bloodbath.
Yep. Considering
there will be teams
only allowed to pick
broken
three players.
But see, a lot of people are guesstimating and looking for the 3 people on a faction that you would keep. But nobody is really looking at the possibilities of poaching players from other factions and having them join you because you have the space for them and their teammate, whereas your faction manager is maybe talking about cutting your team or trying to get them out of the draft and signing only one of you. And then there's another faction that's talking to you as an inner geekdom player, but one person is talking to you as teams and singles and inner geekdom. And, it will be interesting to see what strategies everybody goes for when trying to sign players. Are you going to go and sign your keep your loyalties, or are you going to try and poach the big talent, Yeah,
it's going to be a hell of a time.
And in a perfect world, we run into season 8, we run still 9 factions, and then at the end of season 8, going into season 9, we have a protection list given to every manager, and then an expansion draft for the 10th faction.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? On that note, I say that's a great way to end the show. Daniel, where can everybody find you?
I can be found at my handle down here, Avengers_SOTN, Schmoes of the North on Twitter, and around our Facebook page, Schmoes of the North as well, a Schomedown fan page where we post very, very, not often these days because we're filming 90 shows a week, but
a lot of us
we definitely will be back there, and during downtimes of the show, we come out in full force on the Facebook page trying to drum up activity. So come on and join us.
Yeah, for sure. And then you can find me over at Twitter and Instagram at soda_the_saxman. You can find me hosting the show Get Sweaty over on the Media Sweaties Network, where we break down the latest in the week of movie news, sports, and then where we discuss a top 10 list, which what was the one we were doing for this upcoming week? We just did we just did top 5 TV characters. This upcoming one is top 5 trilogies, which is going to be really hard. Yeah, it's hard. I can tell you. Sorry?
Can I pick? Well, okay. 2 questions. Can I pick unofficial trilogies in 2 different forms? 1, can I make a trilogy? And 2, can I take 3 movies in a series that is longer than 3 that is not necessarily the first
we talked about that because you've got Toy Story, and then you've got Indiana Jones falls in that character, and Rocky as well. Yeah, no,
especially Indiana Jones. If you could cut off the 4th one,
it's not that bad of a movie. It's just not as good as the other ones.
But if you could cut off the 4th one, you could argue it's one of the best trilogies ever.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And even Toy Story, the 4th one was good, but it's the same boat. If you were to take that one out, that's up there too, because Toy Story 3 is amazing.
I haven't seen the 3rd, so I can't argue this.
On that, Daniel, that movie was it hit at the right time because I was Andy's age when the first one came out, so I was Andy. So anyways, that's that's where you could find us. So yeah, like he said earlier, like, subscribe to this video, share your thoughts in the comments, join us over at the Schomedown Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. We're pretty much all over the place. So on that note, everybody, have a good night.